Hi, gun people. Let's talk about great, wonderful, liberal, progressive women showing how equal and great they are. So this little Antifa punches and spits on. Uh, it says conservative demonstrators, but there were just people kind of giving the other side to Antifa out there trying to intimidate everybody. And this video that I'm going to show parts of is pretty long. I'll put a link in the description. She eventually ends up getting arrested, so I'm going to talk about some of the arrest techniques, why the cops did what they did, how they do it, and then what is reasonable force, and what's a battery versus spitting, etc. So let's take a look at this video. Okay, so the purple-haired, pink-haired future CEO of YouTube is in the yellow jacket here. So let's keep an eye on her. So she just hawked up and spit in this guy's face. Spitting is a battery. It's no different than throwing liquid, throwing a rock, punching them, or kicking them. It is contact. It is unlawful contact. It is a battery. Now, the argument with law enforcement about reasonable and can you spit back, or can you hit somebody, or can you stop somebody who's spitting at you, and what's reasonable? Well, the courts will always decide what's reasonable. In my opinion, and law enforcement, the government's opinion, if someone spits on you, it's a battery. You can knock them down, take them into custody, use force reasonable to overcome that force. And in this day and age, with all the bloodborne pathogens and diseases transferred through saliva and other bodily fluids, spitting is not only disgusting and humiliating and likely to promote a violent response, which is a lot of states use that on what disorderly conduct is or what's inappropriate. If you use language or gestures or do things that is likely to provoke a violent response, you normally fall under disorderly conduct. However, once you touch somebody, either with an object or something you throw, something you swing, an arrow, shoot, whatever, once you touch somebody, now you've committed a battery. And that's what this woman is doing. I want you to notice her calm demeanor that the left always says they're asking for tolerance. The left is asking for us to get along, to reach across the aisle. And the mean conservatives are always the aggressive and mean ones. The lying fake media will always blame others for what they do. And this is a classic example. In a minute, she's going to tell them that they're violent. Watch her behavior. Swinging with a fist, trying to hit this guy, and this guy is just pushing her back. Is he allowed to punch her at this point? Absolutely. By pushing her back, did he make contact with her? Yes. Did he stop her with minimum force? Yes. The courts would probably view this as a more reasonable action. But if he would have punched her, would that have been okay? I think in the eyes of the court, it would have been. But could they have charged him as a mutual combatant? Yeah. Can they charge him now as a mutual combatant? Yes, they can. He made contact with her. Even though he's defending himself, he shouldn't be charged. He should not be deemed the aggressor. In today's world, he would be.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Everyone, calm. Stay there, calm down, Everyone.
Isn't her parents probably proud right now that they raised a good, strong, smart, successful, articulate, non-emotional woman that's going to represent liberal women? Jesus.
Come on. Shut up. Let it happen. It's all good. Don't touch her. Let her attack. Let her attack. her attack. It's all good. See, that's the thing.
These guys are doing a good job at not reacting. This guy's saying, hold back, let her do it. Don't do anything. These guys are a lot more tolerant than I would be. If you spit in my face, about the time your spit hits me, my fist is going to hit you in the mouth. I mean, that's just the way it is. I'm sorry. If you're going around spitting on people, then you deserve what you get, in my opinion.
What?
You don't look at one side. You ain't looking at this.
I'm taking pictures. I tweet it all out. It's all being recorded. No.
Do you hear that? She just called this guy inherently violent. Because he's a conservative, he's inherently violent. Can you believe that?
It's all being recorded. No. Look at those fucking eyes. That's fear. See these eyes? That's the fucking eyes of a warrior.
People are always asking, how do cops pick who the primary aggressor is? In assaults or in conflicts, you have what's called a primary aggressor. Who could have walked away? Who was escalating it? Who was provoking? Pretty easy to tell who the primary aggressor is. Of course, if CNN was covering it or YouTube was covering it, they would say this poor woman is a victim of the mean men. But in reality, anybody with 2 brain cells can pick out the primary aggressor.
You got fear.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
You know that.
Fucking fear, bro.
That.
You look scared.
Tell every single person.
You need to calm down.
Back you up. No.
Hit me, brother.
Fucking make
Let her
your
attack
jump,
us.
dog.
Let her attack us.
Make your fucking jump, bro.
Let her attack us. It's all good.
Hawked up a loogie and spit in their face again. So she's encroaching. She's getting closer. She's forcing them back. She is 100% the aggressor. Now, the cop's going to come in here in a minute, and you're going to see what's called an extraction. And when we were given Riot training, we would train for this. We would have an extraction team. And that team would be 5 or 6 of our meat eaters who would be like, we're going to go in the middle of this crowd and we're going to snag a primary aggressor, a leader, somebody who's inciting violence, somebody who's stirring up the crowd, who's making things worse, and we're going to snag them. And this girl is about to get snagged by what's called an extraction team. It usually happens very quick. Nobody knows it. What's happening over here behind her is you're going to see you don't see it, but you see a line of cops creating a barrier, and that line's going to open up, and these 5 or 6 guys is going to come through the line, reach in, grab her, and pull her back behind the line. You won't see all that. You only see part of it.
Let her do it. Let her do it. Let her spit. Let her spit. See that? Let her spit. It's all good.
Are you?
It's all good. Hey.
Several assaults, several batteries, primary aggressor.
It's all good. Let her go. It's all good. Look at all this. Let her attack. Let her attack. Let her attack. Go ahead. Hit me. Hit me. And I will do it.
So you notice that happened very quick. It disoriented the crowd. Large cops move in. These cops over here push the crowd this way. There are cops pushing the crowd toward the camera a little bit. The extraction team comes in, grabs her, and pulls her out. That's textbooks on how it's supposed to go down when you're extracting someone who's violent or inciting a riot. You can be your own judge on this. I don't know how long YouTube will leave this up. I mean, YouTube always wants to squash the truth and not allow truth to be out there. Anybody that talks reasonable is considered extreme. Again, we're just in a bizarro world, and YouTube's leading the way to promote their Antifa violence. And then if I'm going to try to use this video to educate people and to explain what's going on, they're going to say that I'm the mean guy and I'm promoting something bad. So view the video, watch it, share it, make copies of it, and we'll end that there.